the last of his kind. Arinder was a majestic land of elves, renowned for their wisdom, harmony with nature, and magnificent cities built among ancient trees. Loria, the capital of the elves, was a symbol of their greatness, with towering stone buildings covered in moss and magical rivers that glowed at night. The elves were one of the oldest races in the kingdoms, and their mastery of magic and combat was unparalleled. But one day, a dark shadow descended upon this thriving world. A necromancer named Malakar arrived with an army of the undead. His dark magic was overwhelmingly powerful, and all attempts by the elves to resist him were in vain. They fought to protect their lands, but Malakar's magic quickly turned them to ruins. Loria fell, and most of the elves perished, their souls becoming part of Malakar's undead army. Quill, one of the last of the elven bloodline, returned home after being sent to seek allies to fight the dark forces. But what he found upon returning was catastrophic. His kin had been slain, and the elven lands had become a wasteland, crawling with the undead. In his grief and rage, Quill swore vengeance upon Malakar and vowed to destroy him once and for all. A kingdom of strangers, Quill left his homeland and journeyed to the human kingdom of Eldrano. The elves and humans had once shared a strong alliance, but after Loria's fall, relations had grown cold. Eldrano was a vast, bustling kingdom full of humans, where the magic of the elves was unknown, and elves themselves had become more of a myth than reality. Quill traveled through numerous cities and villages, seeking support, but people were distrustful, as the elves had long been forgotten. However, upon reaching the capital, he heard about the Royal Academy of Warfare. It was there that he decided to find a mentor and warrior to learn the skills that would help him combat the dark forces. At the academy, he was met with suspicion due to his elven heritage. But unlike others, Quill was determined and showed his dedication, a bond forged in steel. At the Royal Academy, Quill met Garrick, a renowned warrior who was considered one of the best in the kingdom. They clashed in a duel, where Quill bested Garrick with his speed and skill. However, unlike the others, Garrick was not offended. He admired the elf spirit and decided to teach him the human methods of combat. Although Quill had his own elven fighting style, he realized that the human methods of battle would greatly expand his abilities. Garrick, too, had lost his family to raiders, and though his desire for vengeance burned strong, he understood the importance of not losing oneself in it. Together, they trained day and night, refining their skills. A deep friendship was forged, based on mutual respect and shared hardship. Garrick became not just a mentor but a true brother in arms. Whispers of the necromancer. Rumors of Malakar began to spread again. Villages in the north started to disappear, and dark forces were leaving terrifying traces behind. Quill and Garrick headed north to investigate these reports, hoping to face Malakar's undead army. After days of travel, they reached a village that had supposedly been attacked. The place looked like time had stopped. Ruined houses, blackened ash, and empty streets. As they delved deeper into the area, they realized that this was where the dark forces had been awakened. Malakar was near. They discovered a dark stone, pulsing with necromantic energy. Garrick was ready to destroy it, but Quill stopped him. This isn't just an artifact. This is part of a greater magic, Malakar's magic. We need to be prepared. A new companion. One night, as they prepared to rest in the forest, they were suddenly attacked by zombies and ghosts. In the heat of the battle, when they were nearly surrounded, another elf appeared. She fired precise arrows, swiftly killing several undead. It was Illyria, a skilled elven archer who had been trying to stop Malakar's forces for years. Illyria explained that her own family had been killed by Malakar, and she had been part of a hidden elven community that fled deep into the forests when Loria fell. She was a master of the bow and magic, and now her goal was the same as theirs, to stop Malakar. She promised to help Quill and Garrick find and kill Malakar. And so, a new alliance was formed, and their journey deepened. Trials of the Undead. The trio traveled north, encountering increasing numbers of the undead. They became a well-oiled fighting machine, each with their role in battle. Garrick would smash through enemies with his great strength, Illyria supported with long-range magic and arrows, and Quill cleaved through foes at the heart of the battle with his elven blades. With each battle, their skills grew sharper, and even the undead hordes posed less of a challenge. Yet Quill's heart was still heavy. His thirst for vengeance was strong, but now he wondered, what would happen after Malachar was defeated? Illyria, always calm and thoughtful, began to ask him important questions. You have a great mission, Quill, but remember, vengeance can blind you to what really matters. Quill thought deeply but continued to press forward. His desire for revenge still burned brightly in his chest. The Fortress of Souls. They finally reached Malachar's fortress, a towering, dark structure that loomed over the decimated forests. This was no mere fortress. It was a living laboratory, filled with magical creatures and abominations under Malachar's control. Illyria looked at it warily. This place is not only full of bodies, it's full of souls. We must be ready for anything. Quill raised his head and saw a blue glow in the darkness. It was magic suffusing the air. Another step closer to the great battle. The heart of darkness. Inside the fortress, Quill and his companions faced an army of undead, magical monstrosities, and finally, Malachar himself. The battle was fierce, and at the end, Quill faced Malachar one-on-one. The dark necromancer laughed, seeing the pain in Quill's eyes. But you, like all others, will become part of my army, Malachar taunted. Quill steeled himself, summoning all his strength and skill. In a powerful strike, he brought Malachar down. The necromancer's fortress began to tremble, and the undead army started to collapse. The new dawn. With Malachar's defeat, the world was filled with a renewed hope. The lands that had been cursed began to heal. Forests started to regrow, and villages that had been ravaged began to rebuild. Quill and Illyria returned to their homeland. Quill was no longer the same elf who had left on his quest for vengeance. He now understood that life held more than just revenge. There was rebirth, hope, and working together for a brighter future. The legacy of the last elf. Quill and Illyria worked tirelessly to rebuild the elven community. They sought out survivors of their people who had gone into hiding, offering them a place in their new home. Together, they would rebuild their culture, honor their ancestors, and protect the world from the forces of darkness. Quill knew that vengeance had led him here, but it was love, hope, and friendship that would guide him from now on. Thanks for watching this story. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you liked it.